Today we are going to create a beautiful anchoring cutting board from a raw piece of olive wood lumber. It's going to be a fun one, stay tuned. Good morning fellow woodworkers, welcome back to another video. I probably don't need to tell you this, but olive wood is just one of the most beautiful wood types out there that does exist here on this planet. And I want to create my very first own cutting board from olive wood today. And I want it to be an end crane cutting board. So we got two challenges today. Try to figure out how to create a cutting board and how to create an end crane one. I already have a few ideas in mind, and at first I'm going to get myself the most beautiful piece and the thickest piece. It's just me, or it's olive wood looking kind of thick, of olive wood out of my basement here. Give me a second. I got 75 kilograms lying around, so I'm probably going to find a piece which is going to fit my needs. Yeah, that right here is already a pretty good piece of lumber, but maybe I should save this one up. Just look at the olive wood, look at the end crane, it's amazing. But I should probably save this one up for, I don't know, something to do with epoxy. So I'm not going to waste the big pieces, I'm going to take a look for smaller pieces. Okay, yeah, this is probably a bit better. So I got this one right here, but I'm not certain if I want to use this one because it got a bunch of cracks. So this is also not one that we are going to use, but yeah, this one right here is looking pretty promising. This is already more than enough to create a cutting board, and it already has a nice side. So I'm going to go with this piece of olive wood, which also had a very nice end crane coming with it, and then we are going to see if I can turn it into a cutting board. Let's go. By the way, if you're enjoying my videos, definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't watched my video yet on the Metabo DH330 thickness blender, then you should do so, link in the description. This thing is an absolute beast. Such a good investment, comes at a very affordable price, about $700. I know it's not a beginner tool for everyone, it's not affordable to everyone, but if you got the funds, get yourself one of these. Such a good tool. Just look at this result. I love it very much. And now we are going to go ahead and cut off these parts at first, and then we are going to try and get it square. I used a stub block to keep my big piece of wood from sliding around while sawing. After that I took several passes on every cut to not overload my table saw. Olive wood is damn hard, gotta take it slow here. The smell of olive wood is just freaking amazing. I don't like eating olives, they just taste disgusting, but the smell is really good. I'm going to keep this piece of wood. I'm going to probably make something out of it at some point in time. Once all of the live edge was gone, I took off just a tiny bit on the shorter sides to hopefully get a square block of wood. I'm basically done on the table saw right now. I checked several times with my mighty carpenter square if everything is nice and square. Maybe I'm still going to let it run through the blender, but this already feels pretty jointable. I don't think I need to do any more on these sides. Other than that, now it's about designing how the end crane board is going to look. This right here is going to be the crane, which is going to be seeable on top. Meaning, what we're going to do is we are probably going to cut along these lines right here, and maybe also on this line, and then we're going to turn around the crane tiny bit to alternate it overall. Then I'm going to do everything together, and last but not least, we're going to turn it into a finished cutting board by gluing everything together once again after cutting it once again. So much cutting involved on these end crane cutting boards. Next, I measured how thick I wanted the stripes to be and fixed my stub block accordingly to get reproducible results on every cut. Then it was on to sawing again in multiple passes per cut. Last but not least, I ran all 3 blocks through my planner to get them square and to the same measurements. Now I'm done letting everything run through the planner. I decided to do so once again because they weren't perfectly square after cutting them once again, so I still need to practice this. I'm not a master craftsman, as you obviously might have noticed up until now. But now they are all on the same height, they are nice and jointable, they have very smooth surfaces, and now you can probably see what I mean by alternating end crane. So if we take a look here, I'm just going to change this direction. Now you can already see that the crane is completely different. Right here, that the hardwood is on this side and the 2 sapwood parts on this side. And if we take a look at the end grain, it's alternating now. What you can do too is you can cut it like this once again and then let it go through the planer and then alternate the grain a bit more, shuffle it around if you wish. But I think I am pretty good to go with this blocky kind of look, and I'm going to glue everything together, and then I'm going to come back tomorrow, cut everything and glue everything together once again. Gluing went fairly well with Ponal glue by using multiple clamps. I made sure to give the glue a bit of time to dry before the final assembly, and once everything was in place, I also used some scrap pieces of wood to keep them aligned during the curing. On the next day, I got rid of the glue stains and went back to my shop, aka the shed. Once I was there, I ran the whole thing through the planer, and then table saw action was next on my list. Once again, I resorted to using a stub block to get reproducible results during each cut. The distance between my stub block and the saw blade was set to 20 mm, which will also result in the final thickness of the cutting board at around 2 cm. Last few cuts seemed dangerous to me since my hands would have been really close to the plate, so I fixed my block of olive wood in place using clamps too. Want to keep my hands a bit longer. Better safe than sorry, guys. So, I'm basically done sawing everything. You can see a few inaccuracies. I don't know why that is. Maybe my jig isn't 100% accurate. Overall, I don't know. I need to find a source for these arrows, but this really doesn't matter. I can sand it down later. So I still have a block of olive left. I'm not going to use this right now because I can really create another row. So yeah, this is going to be the cutting board. It's a perfect size. It was supposed to be a small one, and now it's onto gluing, I suppose. Glue dried for a whole noon, and now it was about time to sand everything using my random orbital. Then I cut the board to its final size. And after that was done, I had my cat invade my camera shot. Over at my router table, I plugged in a round over bit and tested how it would look. Once I was fine with the results, I ran my board through the router. This corner rounding maneuver looks pretty dangerous, but to be fair, I didn't have any kind of jig around and I really held on tight to my board and it all went perfectly fine. Don't do this at home, kids, build yourself a jig. Next came the handles. I fixed stub blocks in place and installed a cove bit. I took very light passes from underneath the board until my handles were done. Very easy and effective to do it like this. I was surprised how well it turned out, very surprised. So folks, after quite a bit of work, here comes the reason why 99% of you clicked on this video. To see me oiling that bitch. Let's go. Stop right there, Egypt. Don't you see these glue marks all over the place? I was sure that I could definitely do better than that. Let's skip to the next day. I took the dive and ran the board through the planer. Very light passes, about 30 per side did the trick, and I was so damn happy with the results. A dedicated video about running end grain boards through a planer will follow soon, and once it's there you can find the link down there in the description. And now we can really enjoy the reason why all of you came here in the first place. Here's the big reveal. And this concludes today's video, and I hope you did like what you have seen today. I learned a bunch of things from creating this end grain cutting board. So what I noticed is that sanding is absolutely horrible. If you don't get accurate cuts from the get-go, you have to do a lot of sanding. I can think of a way to put this end grain board through a planer to get the final shave done. But maybe there's a way to use, for example, my CNC at home or some kind of router jig to get the surface nice and flat. Other than that, it worked out anyways with a lot of sanding, about 30 minutes, which was quite annoying. But I really have to admit, for a first time project, okay, just trying it out because I had olive wood lying around. It turned out pretty good. What I'm most proud of is the fact that I actually got all the intersections of the wood right, so there's not even a millimeter of difference in some kind of way. All the edges and corners align perfectly, which makes it even more enjoyable to look at this cutting board. And if you want to build along, you know how you can do so, by taking yourself a block of olive wood and then just trying it out for yourself. Other than that, I hope you did like the video, and if you did, then definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. And up until the next video, I wish you guys a flammable day. Ciao!